done this trail many times before, but never recorded it. So we're going to record it today and give you a little preview of the trail in case you haven't done it. There's a nice, good-sized parking lot here right off of South Pearl Street. Looks like they have expanded it. There's also park and ride for CDTA here, so plenty of parking. There is a outhouse here, a porta potty now. There's electric charging station for electric vehicles. And there's also a tool rack here in case you need to pump your tires up or make some repairs before or after you hit the trail. So this is a 9-mile one-way to Voorheesville, pretty much all uphill on the way to Voorheesville, and then a nice easy ride back. If you finish this, you can also take this route headed north on South Pearl Street, go by the Port of Albany and the USS Slater, and go another about 4.5 miles to Watervliet and back on an older trail that's not quite in good condition as this, but still a nice ride along the Hudson River. CDPHP has rental bikes available at the Albany end of the route, and we often see people on these bikes enjoying the trail. Like I said, the first part of this trail is all uphill, but it's a pretty gradual grade most places, and there's a few nice views, so we're going to record the whole thing and show you the highlights. This trail's only opened a few years ago, so pavement's really good. It's pretty free of any root bumps and potholes. Coming up on a beautiful waterfall on the Norman Scale. We usually try to stop here and take a look. Trail has a lot of deciduous trees, so really beautiful in the fall, gets a lot of color, really pretty. There's a cool little railroad bridge coming up just ahead. It's at mile 1. Done this trail a few times before. One of the nice things is that despite being a really beautiful trail, it's really not that crowded most days, especially during the week. Almost at mile 3, and there's no road crossings yet. Most of them are near Voorheesville, but most of the trail is free of road crossings. Coming up on a great little pit stop at approximately a 3-mile mark going uphill from Albany. You'll find there's a Stewart's, and it's a great place to stop to get a drink, take a break, get an ice cream if the weather's warm. Coming up on our first road crossing, a little zigzag here. People do have a stop sign here. And if we're lucky, they'll stop for us. Coming up on a detour, there was a pedestrian bridge in Slingerland that went over roadway here. They attempted to rebuild it this year. It was construction failure, and so the bridge is still closed until they can correct that and start again. We're going to get off and walk for a little while down this gravelly path. I turn my bike this way to be able to see where the bridge is supposed to be, where there isn't one. This is the location where the former old railroad bridge that was being used for the bike trail was being built over this local road here. And a couple of months ago, while they were constructing the bridge, which goes diagonal to the roadway here, and pouring concrete, one of the steel beams spanning this roadway buckled, and it turned out it was a design error, and the web of the beam was not stiff enough at the end, where they had kind of narrowed it down to make it look like an old railroad bridge, and it failed. So it's in redesign. Hopefully maybe by next spring the bridge will be back and we won't have to do this detour. Continuing on our little detour here. This part at least is mostly paved. And we're back on the trail again. Coming up at our second road crossing, a little after mile 5.5. There are mile markers all along the route here, so you can see what your progress is if you don't have a trip meter or aren't using Strava or something like that. Coming up on another road crossing. I found that most of these road crossings aren't very busy with traffic. Although most of the time we do this trail, it's not during prime travel time. Just past the 7-mile mark. It's about mile 7.5. Pass under this railroad bridge. Not much wildlife today, but we have occasionally seen deer close to or really right on this trail if you hit it at the right time of the day. Today, only chipmunks. Getting a little closer to Voorheesville now, coming up on another road crossing. On your left, you'll see an old barn. Appears abandoned, although looks like starting to do some work on it. Seems like it would be a perfect wedding venue for someone. Trail has a lot of these nice wooden fences, keep you from going down into a ravine or a gully. They're also kind of picturesque as you're riding along. Parts of this trail are completely wooded and you can't see any houses. Other parts you can see backs of residential developments, old and new ones. And there's quite a few access points to the trail, along the trail from those housing developments. Little stream crossing here on a wooden bridge. And then we're coming up to what I believe is our last road crossing before the end of this trail near Main Street in Voorheesville. There is another parking lot here a lot of people use for the trail. We're at mile 9. At the Voorheesville end of the trail, there's some nice placards with information about the old Voorheesville train station, which no longer exists, but there's kind of a little bit of a replica behind us as a pavilion for people to take a break and have a picnic lunch, get out of the sun. There's also information about the trail on this placard here. It includes information about the old railroad line, which this bike trail follows. It's pretty interesting. There's also a bike tool rack and pump at this end if you need it. When I was a kid living in Voorheesville in the 60s, I remember this building was still here, but it's no longer here. There's also information here about the village of Voorheesville and some of the older buildings and historic sites in town that you might want to investigate beyond the trail. Wooden playset replica of a train for kids to play on, which is great. We had a little snack, rested for a while, we're headed back down.